Yeah, they've finally done it properly. Hello, I am the Irish guy. This is the Prem Catch-Up. Let's see what happened in the Premier League this weekend and the FA Cup too. Villa and Forest fans must be feeling pretty miserable. Right, let's go. Liverpool 5, Tottenham 1. Incredible. Liverpool, they're a special club who deserve this. I think we have finally righted a football wrong. I'm sorry, but there was no worse time to win a trophy than in 2020, when there was literally nobody in the crowd. Winning silverware without fans there to see it, it's about as hollow as a chocolate Santa or Romeo Beckham's football career. During the summer of 2020, everyone was forced to stay at home, playing Pictionary with their cat and googling whether or not it was ethically moral to sneeze on broccoli and Asda. Bayern Munich won the Champions League in 2020. So what? You could book my mum for a gig at Wembley next month. Get her up on stage to slurp tea, knit jumpers, and watch The Crown on her phone. Yeah, more people would turn up to see her do that than they did for Europe's showpiece final. And similarly, I felt so gutted for Liverpool fans in 2020. Come on, this is a club who had never won the Premier League title before. Every time they look close to doing that, they would slip. So here they are, 20 points clear, and the world freezes. You couldn't actually stop the Reds from winning it, but what you could do is delete the fans. It's an unspoken truth, but Liverpool's Premier League title win in 2020 was devastatingly awful. Christ above. Their 30-year wait for a trophy ended with Christian Pulisic scoring against Man City. Honestly, lads, Chelsea love to rob other teams' title moments by giving it to them early. I mean, I always thought it was very anticlimactic that for Leicester City's insane fairy tale title win, that was confirmed at a Jamie Vardy house party. The greatest moment of their lives was clinched when Danny Simpson was doing a poo in the kitchen en suite. Leicester City crowned champions whilst Riyad Mahrez was making toast and Andy King trying to piss in the milk. This was the moment Liverpool won the title in 2020. That's it! Instead of sharing it in the stadium, instead of bursting into tears in front of 60,000 adoring supporters, oh no, you just said Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain flexing his arms on Snapchat, everyone in boring white t-shirts, looking like a bunch of desperate middle-aged blokes on a golf weekend. It's so incredibly anticlimactic. It's like a woman who's been waiting all of her life to get her dream Disney wedding to a Prince Charming. Yeah, she's then 47, down a civil centre, getting married to a pig she met a Bumble. In 2025, we have Liverpool's players belting out "You'll Never Walk Alone" with the fans in what was such an epic football moment. Minutes after the title was confirmed. 5 years earlier, you had Jordan Henderson tearfully Skyping Sky after a tea party with his mates. When the players actually lifted the title, it came just minutes after thumping 5 past Chelsea. I mean, there were some incredible goals scored that night from Keita, Trent, Wijnaldum. Can anyone remember those goals? No, because it looked like a training session. The players barely even celebrated, just standing still and getting a chest bump. That was it. I maintain that was the worst title win in Premier League history by a mile. And the fact that it was for Liverpool, ending their 30-year wait, it was a travesty. Why couldn't 2020 have just been the year where Man City racked up another title win? I mean, who cares if those celebrations are ruined, because they win it every year. Winning trophies only matters when there's fans there to see it. I mean, can you imagine how awful it would have been if Newcastle had ended their trophy drought with nobody in the crowd, making Steve Bruce a Newcastle United legend? Looking back, I honestly believe the 1920 season should have been cancelled in March, because winning those trophies were absolutely ruined. Liverpool lifted their title in front of nobody. They had to release extremely loud fireworks in the dark to disguise the fact that the stadium was quieter than a birthday party for the deaf. It was a real football injustice. So this is incredible, Liverpool. This was a moment. Watching those Liverpool players belting out "You'll Never Walk Alone" with the fans, hands down one of the most epic moments in Premier League history. This is what 2020 was missing. This is Liverpool winning the title for real. I mean, can you imagine if the likes of Van Dijk, Salah, Alexander-Arnold, Robertson and Alisson had ended their time at Liverpool without experiencing this? It's unbelievable. And Liverpool fans, you absolutely deserve this. How can Trent leave after a night like this? What a way to win the league by flattening Spurs 5-1. I mean, it's not the greatest way the league has ever been won. Nah, that's always going to be the Sergio Aguero moment in 2012. But it's absolutely the most aesthetically pleasing Premier League party since 2010, when Chelsea won the Premier League title for the first time in 4 years, clinching it on the final day with an 8-0 win over Wigan. Their first league win since Mourinho. I mean, that must have been a delicious afternoon at Stamford Bridge. Come on, they were facing a Wigan team who'd already beaten them that season. Manchester United fans were desperately cheering on Wigan to sneak a miracle and give them the title. But no, Ancelotti's boys won by 8. Even Ashley Cole scored. So that was probably a beautiful afternoon, but this, I don't know, for this to be Liverpool's first proper title since 1990, to finally celebrate in front of their fans, this is special. And spare a thought for Jordan Henderson, who never had this. I mean, she already got his Champions League final moment. I mean, weirdly, that was also clinched after beating Spurs. Oh, wow. Tottenham are really trying to force their way into Liverpool's picture book. But yeah, Henderson never had this. And don't forget, he had a contract at Liverpool until 2025. He could have had this. Instead, he spent this weekend sitting out a suspension in Holland after picking up another booking for Ajax in a 4-0 defeat to FC Utrecht. I mean, sure, he's probably going to win the Eredivisie title this season, but so? You've sacrificed this moment for having 6 months of tickle fights with Stevie G. Ugh. Brighton 3, West Ham 2. Graham Potter is muddy toilet water. Can we all agree on that now, please? Lads, I know Brighton spanked in 2 utter wonder goals from outside the box, with Carlos Baleba's curling last-minute winner an absolute beast of a strike. But still, facts are facts. And that is, this expensive West Ham squad are currently 17th in the table. As this is a club who this time last year were technically European champions. I mean, sort of. It's a bit like popping on a Burger King crown and then expecting to get invited to Buckingham Palace. But still, last summer was an incredibly exciting West Ham window, adding Luis Guilherme, Max Kilman, Silencio Somerville, Nicholas Fulkrug, Guido Rodriguez, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and to top it all off, Jean-Claire Todibo, snagging him on loan from Nice. Only 10 minutes ago, this Frenchman was the most in-demand centre-back in Europe, so seeing him wobble his way to West Ham, it wasn't quite like when they pinched Tevez and Mascherano from under the noses of Europe's elite clubs, but it felt a little like that. But no, this former Barcelona megastar links up with the Hammers, and even he looks like a walking tub of goose sick. Lads, even Potter's sole winter window signing might just look on paper, oh, he's just some Brighton striker kid on loan, but I don't know, Evan Ferguson recently had a £100 million price tag and was backed by AI to win 2 Ballon d'Ors. Yeah, now under Potter, he looks like a wobbly life-size garden gnome told to just eat sandwiches on the bench. If the promoted teams weren't utterly useless, then Potter would right now be in a very realistic chance of getting relegated to the Championship. Price of West Ham of 6 points less than the West Ham team who went down in 2003. They were an absolute joke, and Potter, I'd sack him next month. Bournemouth 1, Man United 1. I knew Antoine Semenyo would score against Man United. I knew it because, lads, last week, this Bournemouth winger was linked with a mega money move to Old Trafford, which is crazy. Lads, 5 years ago, this guy was part of Sunderland's League One squad on Netflix. It's just that he was so anonymously forgettable that nobody bothered to film him. But nobody would have ever thought that a future £70 million Manchester United star was lurking in that dressing room. If this deal comes off, he will be the 6th most expensive player in Manchester United history. So I knew he would play out of his skin to try and prove to Manchester United that he is worth the money. But when he scored, he did this chirping celebration, which has become a trend this season. Anthony Gordon did it to shut up the Liverpool transfer rumours. Trent Alexander-Arnold has done it when he's been linked to Real Madrid. And now Semenyo has done it. But I don't really understand it, because Jude Bellingham did that at Borussia Dortmund. Still left. But if Semenyo is happy to stay at Bournemouth and not move to Manchester United, really? Are you telling me Semenyo would turn down a move to the theatre of dreams? Surely not. I know Bournemouth are 11 points better off than them, but still, it's Man United. Surely you don't turn him down when, what, 7 years ago, you were playing for Bath, a club where even the football fans probably spend most games getting rugby updates on their phone. This is someone who failed multiple trials as a teenager at Arsenal, Tottenham, Fulham, Crystal Palace and Millwall. So to finally prove everyone wrong with the move to Manchester United, surely he would do that. Also, he's a Ghana international, a nation where a huge chunk of the population support Manchester United. What better way to cement yourself as a complete Ghana legend than by representing that club? Surely he doesn't turn them down if they come knocking. Surely. But look, that's just so annoying. Bournemouth were seconds away from a brilliant win over Man United, which would have put the Cherries 8th in the league, just 4 points behind Aston Villa and just 7 points behind Nottingham Forest in that Europa League spot. But now, Erasmus Højlund just had to scuffle in an awkward, ugly goal with seconds left on the clock, meaning that Andoni Iraola has now won just 1 of his previous 11 games. Real Madrid really did spoil their season. Southampton 1, Fulham 2. Play the clip.
2-1 Fulham. Mateus Fernandes for Southampton. 1 goals from Raul Jimenez and Harry Wilson.
Okay, I got the goal scorers wrong, but yeah, pretty much. By the way, I got 51 points this week so far. Benjamin Bloom has 44.
Mid-table mediocrity for you, pal.
Sorry, Ben, that was me. But Southampton, they must be devastated. They were seconds away from getting that all-crucial point, which scrapes them above Derby County's hideous record 11 points. Jack Stevens has given them a first-half lead. Emile Smith-Rowe comes off the bench to equalise. Okay, fine. Just hold out for a draw to move you on to that wonderful 12 points. And you can all forget about holding Derby County's hand in the rotten history books. Oh no. Up pops Ryan Sessegnon with a last gasp header. By the way, so far, is he the most improved Premier League player in 2025? Because look at this former megastar's 2024. 5 minutes in the Premier League. All year. I mean, this is someone linked to Barcelona just a few years ago. So his 2024 was absolutely horrendous. He was a forgotten teabag, released by Spurs, failed a trial at Crystal Palace, but in 2025, he's got 4 goals and 2 assists in his last 8 Premier League matches. 6 direct goal contributions in less than 400 minutes. He's contributing to a goal roughly every hour he's on the pitch. Fair play, Ryan. Newcastle 3, Ipswich 0. So Ipswich are officially down, bringing the curtain down on the most pathetic relegation fight of all time. Seriously, at least last season when the 3 promoted teams went straight back down, Luton gave us some sort of indication that they might squeak 17th. But Ipswich, they haven't actually been out of the relegation zone since beating Spurs in November. I'm actually amazed they haven't been mathematically relegated until before this point. I mean, there was never any real risk of them staying up. Lads, can you imagine if they had lost out on signing Liam Delap to Southampton last summer? A move which was seriously on the cards. Oh, then lads, we might be looking at Ipswich as being one of the worst ever Premier League sides. Seriously, that man's goals have saved your dignity. But look, this is still an easy Newcastle win. Easy, with Isaac Byrne and crazy Willasula netting his first Premier League goal before dancing like an insane Pikachu. Honestly, this 21-year-old Dane has Daniel Sturridge energy. Sturridge had the madness, the infectious energy, the vibes, the dance moves, but he also had sickening levels of juicy talent, all of which has led to him being earmarked as the next mini Mecca Richards on Sky Sports, someone who is the next breed of mega pundit on Sundays for the next 10 years. Yeah, Asuna has got Sturridge-esque skill. Both are tall strikers who equally love a step over and a drag back. If he can kick on and produce some serious ability under Eddie Howe, then you never know. He could be a Premier League icon too, because he's got the personality. Come on, Asula. Just be good. Because I love this crazy kid. Wolves 3, Leicester 0. Sack Ruven Nistelrooy yesterday. Leicester are the worst team in the Premier League. I've been saying this for weeks. They are worse than Southampton, and that's going to be proved this weekend. At least the Saints under Simon Rusk are actually playing for some pride and are close to grinding out results. Leicester are utterly hopeless. They can't even motivate themselves to play for pride. What they remind me of is Liverpool in 2015, which is a mad comparison, but I remember when their GOAT announced he was off in the summer. Like Jamie Vardy, he had announced this during a terrible season for the club, but the players couldn't even lift themselves to give Steven Gerrard a good send-off. I remember Gerrard's last match at Anfield, absolutely spoiled because they were embarrassingly played off the park by Alan Pardew's Crystal Palace. They were dumped out of the FA Cup semi-final by a terrible Aston Villa, and in his final ever match for Liverpool, he found himself 5-0 down at half-time to Stoke. And similarly, those Leicester players don't care enough to even put in some effort to let Jamie Vardy leave with dignity. And yes, I know, he missed a penalty. And
thank you, Jose Sa.
I really didn't want to have another ice cream shower this morning. I think those days are done. And honestly, lads, he's stuck on 198 goals for Leicester. If he doesn't achieve that 200 goal milestone before he leaves, and that's going to be a really painful itch for the next 50 years. Leaving when you're 2 goals short of 200. That would be annoying. Chelsea 1, Everton 0. What a horrendous match. Great goal by Nicholas Jackson, but that was bleak. FA Cup. Okay, it's not the Premier League games, no. But let's briefly touch on the FA Cup semi-finals. Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa. This must be equally devastating. Forest had not been in an FA Cup final since 1991. Aston Villa's last FA Cup final was a nightmare, losing 4-0 to Arsenal. A game where a middle-aged Shay Given was grilled like a crisp. He left Newcastle to win trophies. He didn't play a single minute in Man City's FA Cup win in 2011. And here he was at 39 years old, getting clowned on by the Gunners. So Villa would have been desperate to get back to the FA Cup final this season, but this was my prediction.
I think Aston Villa will win the FA Cup. So for all of you who think that I'm always predicting doom and gloom for the club and never give them credit, no, I think you're about to win your first FA Cup since 1957.
Whoops. Nuno Santo must hate the FA Cup. Christ, well, back in 2019, he was 2-0 up and coasting in the semi-final with Wolves, but bottles it against a Watford team went on to disgrace themselves in the final against Man City. And here he was, losing to Man City after Morgan Gibbs-White failed his Etihad audition by slapping the post twice. But yeah, there's no real shame in Forest getting picked apart by Man City, who are now into the third FA Cup final in a row. I mean, lads, the last time Man City's FA Cup campaign did not end at Wembley was when they somehow lost to Wigan in 2018, when an unknown Dan Burn was man of the match. Yeah. Reece James was an unused Wigan sub. That shows how long it's been. That's the only time Pep has ever lost an FA Cup match outside of Wembley. Although the semi shouldn't be at Wembley, it's ridiculous. It's like somebody dressing up as Santa for Halloween. You're spoiling the main event. But honestly, lads, Villa especially must feel disgusted. Rashford was absent from Wembley. Hours later, he pops up in Spurs Stadium. Oh, lads, he's doing it again. Why is he always weird? But yeah, the FA Cup final is now Man City versus Crystal Palace. I mean, sure, Palace have been City's bogey team in the past, but I mean, they literally crumbled like a punctured Capri Sun at the Etihad this month. So honestly, I think we all know what's gonna happen. Simple, Man City win. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments section, what did you think of this Premier League game week and the FA Cup? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you in a while.